Hi, this is Roy with the Automotive Tip of the Day. Today we're doing a maintenance brake job on this F-150. I'm going to show you the parts to start out with. This is your rotor. This actually turns with the wheel. This is your brake caliper that actually squeezes the brake pads onto the rotor to slow it down or stop it. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off. So this is your brake pad. This clamps onto this. These brake pads clamp on this rotor. The friction is what stops your car. This is also what causes the squeaking noise from time to time, which can be normal. If it's consistent, then you need to get it looked at. Different moisture contents, different brakes, these are kind of prone to noise. Now, you don't want a constant noise, but a little noise you're going to have from time to time on some vehicles. So what happens, the lining on these shoes actually wears a little bit every time you hit your brakes till you get below a minimum spec. When we start recommended brakes is between the 2 and 4 millimeters. Below 2, it's in the red. It needs it now. So here's the difference between a brand new brake pad and one that's got some wear on it, and you can see the difference. So this part is what wears every time it hits this brake. And so how fast this wears is greatly dependent on your driving habits. If you're heavy on the gas and you hit the brakes a lot, also city driving versus highway driving. On the highway, you're not using your brakes at all, so you could go 100,000 miles and not need front brakes. Somebody else can go 25,000 miles and need front brakes. So it's based on your driving habits is how much this wears out. This is what we call a brake gauge. So we have the different thicknesses here. Of course, green means your brakes are fine. They're not anywhere near being replaced. Yellow, which is 2 to 4 millimeters, that's when we start telling you, hey, start planning on brakes coming up the next 5 to 10,000 miles. When we get into the red, that's 2 millimeters or less, it's time now. What we're doing now is we're machining the rotor, truing the rotor. This machine here is called a brake lathe, and when I turn this on, this will spin. These are some carbide cutting tips, and they will actually take a thin cut off this rotor. It does several things. It actually trues this rotor, makes it exactly true. It doesn't vibrate side to side. It doesn't vary thickness either way. This rotor does not wear evenly when it's in that environment on that truck. And so even though it's not metal to metal and they were not complaining of a vibration, I don't want them complaining of vibration when I'm done with this brake job. So this is part of every brake job here at the garage. It either gets the rotors machined. If they're below minimum spec, then they get replaced. But we would never just slap pads. With the slang term is a pad slap brake job. It causes problems. They come back squeaking, vibrating. It's just not the way to do it. The manufacturer says we need to put a surface, take the glaze off the rotor, deglaze it, for lack of better terms, so that when those pads hit there, it actually helps them seat into this rotor on the initial brake seat-in procedure that we're going to do before we release this truck back to the customer. So we're going to do a measurement, final measurement, to make sure we didn't get below the 32 millimeter specification on this rotor for the minimum thickness for safety.